Hello, viewer. Hope the day is treating you right. I am back to continue this wonderful story, called The Song of Sunlight. Our current quest here is to head to the armory for today's training. But before I do that, let's go through our belongings quickly, since in true Souls-like fashion, there's bound to be a bit of lore hidden in every item description. We start with an apprentice sword. A worn light sword, the standard for the majority of wound bearers. You've had it for as long as you can remember, really. So I'm guessing, since our father is also a wound bearer, he probably intended this path for us since the very beginning. We have an apprentice shield, a small wooden shield carried by most wound bearers, useful in close quarters combat against a variety of sharp weapons. The sturdiness, however, leaves much to be desired. Because so far, the settlement seems very peaceful. It's interesting that they would make us ready to fight other people. Got some ceramic shards. Small shards of broken ceramic, likely from some sort of water vessel. Internal warping implies the archimancy was hastily performed. We haven't really touched on that. But archimancy is their word for magic. We have seen the priestesses use that during the prayer, and I think the name comes from, like, archive. So archimancy would be creating old things, or the things that were before, something like that. It's interesting. We also got some red powder. A container holding a small amount of medicinal red powder greatly reduces laceration buildup or instantly cures effect if triggered. So it's basically to stop bleeds. We're wearing some basic clothes. We have a minash, a plain hooded cloak worn by all the people of the island. So it is established that we are living on an island, which would also explain why the place is called a settlement. We're probably right in the middle of it. And everyone on the island is living just in this one settlement. It is first given to children when they enter into general education, and though it is much too big, they grow into it. This one is yours, and for as old as worn as it is now, you cherish it nonetheless. Some plain clothing. A set of plain clothing commonly worn by men on the island. While not particularly colorful, it's warm and proves an essential for the cold winters. Yeah, since they're living on an island, they probably don't have access to dyes of any sort. So everyone's just going to wear naturally colored fibers. Aside from the priestesses, of course. I do wonder where they get the red from. Maybe there's some clay on the island or something. Maybe we will know. Your set of sandals. Despite the climate, open-toed shoes seem to be the preference for the island's people. They're comfortable. It's probably the only thing they know how to make. Okay, looks like we're gonna have 2 weapon loadouts. 2, whatever these are. I'm guessing magic of some sort. 1 shield. Place for 3 combat items. Maybe we should keep this one slotted. Here's our equipment. We have slots for 3 accessories. Okay. We also have a stat screen. We're pretty low on every stat. We have 2 that we don't even have yet. Level 1 Vitality. Describes the wellness of your body and its resilience to harm. Leveling Vitality will increase your maximum health, allowing you to take more hits. Naturally. We have energy. This describes your fitness and athleticism. Leveling energy will increase your maximum stamina, enabling you to take more actions on offense and defense. Also got strength. Describes your ability to wield various weapons and attack with ferocity. Leveling strength will increase the damage dealt by weapons as a percentage of their maximum damage output. And we have resistance. Describes your constitution and natural fortitude towards the variety of ailments. Leveling resistance will increase your defense as well as all of your status effect resistances. Okay, this is pretty standard fare for Souls-like games. If a bit simplified, which I am perfectly okay with. We have some secondary stats here. Defense against physically based attacks. Laceration resistance. When laceration triggers, you will take increased damage from attacks. Oh, okay, so it's not even a bleed effect. It just makes you, it's more like a vulnerable. Makes you weaker against subsequent attacks. But we have a pretty nice resist. There's also fracture. You will break a bone and take immediate damage. So this is more like a bleed. There's also concussion. You will become delirious, having less time to see and respond to action commands. We're gonna get to that in a minute. And finally, electrocution. When electrocution triggers, the high voltage will both burn you and cause muscle spasms, dealing damage every turn and slowing stamina recovery speed. Okay, that sounds the most dangerous of these ones. And our currently active quest. Okay. So let's follow the triangle. Got an anvil here. We can upgrade our items. Gonna need some perfect metal, looks like. We're probably going to be getting access to different kinds of weapons. We probably don't need to upgrade our starter ones. Now, let's go. Everyone is here already. I took my place among the oldest of the apprentices, gathered in a small crowd. Wound-bearers of all ages moved around me in the courtyard. Some of the boys near the back noticed my presence and gave me a small nod. I smiled and nodded back. Father stood apart from the group. He was my father, but known to the settlement as Ashadar of the High Wound-bearers. Noticing my approach, he nodded in my direction and began to speak. The warm season has begun on this holy day. This will be the last season of your apprenticeship. For 8 long years, all of you have trained within these walls. Okay, how old are we exactly? I'm going to assume we're something like 16 or 18. So the training started pretty early. You have trained so that you may do your part to improve the lives of the people of the settlement. It is our obligation to keep our loved ones safe and to maintain the island's peace. Safe from what, exactly? But you all know advancing the journeyman is a significant rite. And so the settlement must see that you are prepared. It has come time that you demonstrate the extent of your skills. You will be facing each other in combat these next few weeks. Show me the flame that I have cultivated in you. Show me the fire the children of sunlight hold within themselves. Understood. Our voices came at once, a familiar call and response. Father gestured, and we formed the familiar ring. I felt the morning's uneasiness begin to fade. Why did the morning prayer shake me so much? I don't remember. Father looked in my direction and nodded. I stepped into the circle. Clasping my blade in one hand, I assumed neutral position. From the illustration. Looks like we are left-handed. Interesting. Or maybe this image is just flipped. I think we are actually right-handed. Wait, weren't we right-handed on the inventory screen? Might have to take a look at that one again. Father scanned the ring of wound bearers before settling his eyes on Sajan off to my left. Sajan was somewhat taller and darker in complexion than myself. Nodding, he stepped into the center of the ring as well. He gave a small smile, nervousness palpable on his face. It was hard to hide my own. It's early. Usually, we have time to warm up. I felt my muscles tense and I shifted the grip of my weapon. The grip on my weapon. Father has us beginning immediately. I should win this. I need him to see me win. And we're getting the combat basics. It's more of a rhythm-based game than turn-based. In order to block an incoming attack, press X at the correct time, right as the outer ring touches the inner ring. I've never been good at these kind of rhythm games. Blocking attacks will drain your stamina bar. If you run out of stamina, you won't be able to block and will take increased damage. So we actually do want to play well enough. The better you time your block, the less stamina you lose. If you time it perfectly, just as the rings touch, you lose 0 stamina. Stamina will passively refill while on defense, but you can also restore it by choosing the defend option on your turn. To do so, press X when your command menu appears. Okay, Okay, this is already better. Not perfect though. Now it's your turn to respond. From your command menu, initiate an attack by pressing Z. Attacks cost stamina, so be sure you don't use too much. Attacks work the same as blocking, time your button press with the ring closing in, but to attack, press Z instead. Just as with blocking, timing your command perfectly will result in a bonus. For attacking, that bonus is more damage. Time it perfectly to deal maximum damage. Okay, let's try it. While you've had a limited time to choose action so far, know that in real combat you only have a few seconds to make a decision about what to do. If you run out of time, you will automatically defend. Practice what you've learned so far and defeat Sajan. Alright, here it goes. Oh, that was a perfect blow. And we have one. That wasn't so bad. Sajan wasn't down for long. He came quickly to his knees, dusting himself off and grinning. Breathing hard, I scanned the crowd for Father. He looked at me for a short moment, giving a small nod of approval. It felt great. Father called out, "Again." Sajan got to his feet and we assumed our starting positions once again. And now we get to evasion. While on defense, instead of blocking, you also have the option to evade an incoming attack. Certain attacks can be blocked and must be evaded. In order to evade, press shift while holding left or right to evade forwards or backward. You'll know to evade when you see a square-shaped action command. Time your input correctly to roll further, and make sure you land outside the range of the attack, or you can still get hit. So now it gets a little trickier. While heavy attacks must be avoided by evading, you can choose to evade any attack instead of blocking. However, evading costs significantly more stamina than blocking. I think that was a base 30. Maybe there will be ways, some equipment perhaps to change that, but so far it is 30. So it should be used only in situations where it's necessary. Okay. All the attacks you've had to deal with so far have been neutral hits. However, your opponent may attack in a specific direction. Pay close attention to the hit circle to watch for the direction. And now we're going to play also with the keyboard. Not very much a fan of that. In order to block a directional attack, simply block as normal, but hold the direction of the arrow shown at the same time. You've now learned all the fundamentals of combat. Use what you've learned to defeat Sajan again. Okay, here it goes. Oh, 3 perfect blocks in a row. That was nice. We can go for one more round of attacking. Ow. That's better. So as you might have noticed, if we go far away, then they're not going to be able to follow up with an attack. That will be good to know. Before I realized it, midday had come. Father signaled to the courtyard that it was time to break for the meal. The group began to file inside, exhausted. My hands behind my head, I took a moment to breathe deeply and recover. I noticed Sajan at my side, chest rising and falling similarly. He gave me a sidelong look and grinned. God's light, Aram, you've gotten way too good. I'll be sure and return the favor tomorrow. I smiled back and helped him to his feet. I had been trained with Sajan for many years. We weren't close outside the armory, but he was a friendly face. Sure, Saj, I said playfully. But you'll have to try harder than that. Sajan laughed and clapped me on the back before turning to head into the building. I followed a few feet behind. The room was filled with long tables. Wood bearers typically sat among those at their own age. I looked across the room, noticing the set of tables where my group was eating. Nearby sat my father. We made eye contact, and he smiled. Just then, I had a feeling I wanted to ask him something. I strolled near and sat across from him, folding my legs underneath myself. So they're having those low Japanese-style tables. And no chairs. Which would tell me, since these tables are probably made of wood, at least that's what it looks like, maybe there's not actually enough wood to make chairs as well. It's just a little point of world building, but I still find it fascinating. You did well earlier. Sajan is larger than you, but you maneuvered outside his size advantage well. Around his size advantage, rather. Thank you, Father. I don't tell you often enough, but I'm very proud of how your skills have grown these past few seasons. You could have also just said, I'm proud of you, son. You have a strange way with words. But who am I to judge? When the current season has ended and it comes time, you will make a fine temple guard. Really? Is it certain that will be my concentration? I've recommended it to the Ashan many times. They have great foresight and always make the wisest decision. So yes, I'm sure. Father smiled. Suddenly, I recalled what it was that I wanted to ask him. The empty vegetable carts flashed through my mind. Just then, a young boy came by, passing steaming ceramic bowls. I took mine in my hands, feeling its warmth. But something was odd. It was half full. I looked up at Father, taking small bites. Father? Yes, Aram? Isn't this less than the normal portion? It is. But why? I'm certain the Ashan will make an announcement in due time. This has happened before. Before you were born. I didn't think I would live to see it another. But alas. So then, does this have to do with the harvest? Yes. It's called famine, Aram. When the yield of vegetables is lower than normal. Lower than what is necessary to feed the settlement. Famine. So, it's going to happen? It seems that way from what I've been told. There may be difficulties soon. Okay, and we're specifically talking about vegetables and not grains, which would tell me that indeed they are only eating vegetables. Do they have meat at all? I don't think we have seen any animals anywhere around the settlement, which is pretty strange. They will probably explain it at some point. Oh. What sort of difficulties? It is often difficult to determine a fair distribution of food among the settlement. Why? Is everyone not equal? I thought that was your guys' whole shtick. Whatever the decision, wound bearers must serve to enforce it. When you advance, you will play a part in this. I did the same. I don't really understand. That weapon you carry, Aram, it gives you a special right among the children of sunlight. You understand this. Wound bearers maintain the peace. There may come a time when that weapon must deter those who disturb that peace. What do you mean? I think you know that already, my guy. Being a guard means having something to guard against, which in this case might as well be people. Let's speak of other things, Aram. Don't worry yourself about these things right now. You have plenty to focus on as is. When the time comes, we will discuss it further. Alright. Yeah, he does not want to have this conversation right now. Which is interesting, considering that he has been getting him ready for this his entire life. We continue to eat, speaking of smaller things. But his words stuck with me. I tried to ignore the feeling, but I was shaken. I already know that wound bearers are often asked to keep the peace. If somebody is stealing from the community or hurting another person, there's just no need to do something like that on our island. So I can understand using force to stop that person. But if all they want is a meal, there's always been enough to go around until now. The thought of it made me uneasy. Eventually, the meal ended and we returned to work. The days slipped by as I continued to practice and spar with my peers. The bright midday sun grew cold and brilliant orange by the time Father dismissed us. You know, I think it's a very interesting way of characterizing Oram. You can see this isn't the first time. When something starts to bother him, his immediate reaction is to stop thinking about it. But there are points when he has trouble doing that. That's when he's starting to develop clear moralities. I think it's very good writing. He does understand things intellectually, but actually being forced to experience them is slowly changing him as a person. It was late afternoon now. And you can see that symbol change down there. We completed the quest. We currently have no quests. Let's rest and save quickly. And then continue exploring. Now some people are still here. That was really impressive. Earlier today, I mean. You didn't lose a single match. Really? I guess I didn't. Heh, you're pretty humble about it, Aram. I think you've become one of the best in our age group. Humble? It's not like that. I just don't see any of this as competition. Once we advance, we'll leave all this sparring behind. All of this is so that we can protect people, right? I won't ever need to fight any of you guys for real, so what's the point of comparing ourselves? You're not wrong. That's a good way of looking at it. Hey, speaking of, what concentration are you hoping for? So they have obligation, which is what they call the general type of work, and then they have concentration, which is more of a specialization. I'm not sure yet, but probably peacekeeping. Temple guard sounds pretty dull. Like, I wouldn't really get to do much. Do you think? And sentry? Well, I don't think it's for me. I see. It's also very interesting to me that you can clearly see that Oram is living a life of privilege. His father is a high wound bearer, so he has considerable authority in this settlement, and his mother is one of the priestesses, and given what we have been told so far about the importance of prayer here, that is also a position of high authority, so it is my reading that his entire life Oram has been a child of privilege, but really it's less of a privilege of choice, and more like a privilege of being free from consequences. Like even his concentration, he doesn't really think of what to do with his life. His father kinda wants to put him as a temple guard, and he would just go along with it. I don't think Aram has ever really thought about what he wants to do. That's why he treats everything casually, almost a detached way. So really, he isn't actually that humble in my opinion. He just literally never had to think about why he does the things he does, and forcing him to face actions and consequences is what's going to make him grow. And that's one of the reasons I love the writing in this game so much. Anyway. Oh, it's Sajan. Hey. Staying late, huh? Was hoping I might run into you. Oh, sorry. I wasn't planning on staying long. Damn, really? Not even for a little bit. I was thinking we could get another match in. Well, come on, Aram. I need redemption from before. There's no way I can let things stand as they are. It's not like that. You've beaten me plenty of times in the past. Not recently. In fact, I don't think I've beaten you sparring once in the past year. Maybe. Come on. I know exactly why I lost earlier. I'm ready this time. Okay. Just a quick match. I hope you're ready for a real challenge this time. Oh, and now we get to challenge him. Oh, hello, Aram. Good evening. Coming by to get more training in? Not today, though I really should. Any extra practice you can fit in will really only help. Good on you for staying after. I've got a long way to go. We're not in the same category at all. You're pretty much guaranteed to make Temple Guard, right? Your father's word must go a long way. See? Literally, all of his peers know that he's a child of privilege, and he's just gonna get whatever his father wants for him. And strangely enough, they don't seem to resent him for that. I'm guessing that's because, at his base, Aram is just a chill, down-to-earth guy. I hope that's the case. I wouldn't say it's certain by any means, but he definitely wants it. Well, even if he wasn't a high wound bearer, you'd be eligible for any concentration if you wanted, with skills like yours. Seems like Sajan is intent on making things even with you. He's challenged you to a friendly match in the armory courtyard, but something tells you he's taking this pretty seriously. Okay, so now if we want, we could just leave him hanging, but I'm not really one to do that. Right. Yeah, see? Here in this illustration, Aram is clearly right-handed. It was probably just an image flip situation. Just a little bit of discrepancy. Nothing serious. So, let's see if we can beat him again. Okay, and as you can see, we are boxed in. So we're fighting in a bit of an arena way. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, he does these sweeping attacks that I'm just not ready for. Okay, need to defend here. Wrong button. Yeah, I'm really bad at these kinds of games. But thankfully, we get to try again. Oh, and there was a counter. I wasn't fast enough for that. There we go. And we managed to win. Speak to Sajan to wrap things up. Oh, Okay. No hard feelings then, buddy. God above. There's no damn way. Again. Not bad. You know, I just noticed it consciously. I thought that was just the case of copy-pasting every other sprite. But RM does, in fact, have longer hair than anyone else. I wonder why? Since these guys are effectively training to be soldiers, you would expect uniformity in every way. I do wonder why he gets to keep his hair long. Interesting. If it's any consolation, you made me work much harder than before. Yep, that's true. Gosh, spare me the pity. Looks like I'll have to double down my training from now on. This isn't over, you hear me? I'll beat you one of these days, RM. Sure. Whatever you say. We got 2 marks of honor. You won't even gloat. That's the worst part. Should I? Just you wait, RM. Next time I won't be messing around. Sure, whatever you say. Do a quick rest here. And what did we pick up? Mark of Honor, a small carved piece of wood and metal collected and traded amongst wound-bearers, often exchanged as a result of a duel. It's uncertain when or how the tradition began, but marks of honor have become a sort of currency within the armory, coveted by all. Okay, I can't really make out what it is. Not quite like a flower. Not quite like a windmill. Not at all like a shield. I have no idea. Hello? There's nothing back here. Well, if it isn't Ashadar's son, what are you still doing here? Need something? Hello? I was looking for Journeyman Kabir. Wasn't he on storage duty? He was. It's me now, though. Seriously? Well, is there anything spare for barter? Probably, but you'll have to trade as much as anyone else, you hear. No exceptions. What? This is my obligation too. I shouldn't have to pay in full. Sorry, man. Those are the rules. Go tell your dad if you think it's unfair. Screw you. Kabir was much nicer. Okay, and now we get to trade stuff. Oh, we can just straight up buy marks of honor. Not sure how much honor is in them, if you trade them in such a way. Needs 3 mark of honors for most things. Got some padded clothing, little bit of extra defense. Some padded footwear. Worn ritual shield. And it gives... It doesn't look like we can compare it to what we have. But on a perfect block, reduces status build-ups and gives additional status resists. Interesting. Apprentice short sword. Trades range for weight. Can be effective too for rapid devastating attacks. On a perfect attack, does extra damage based on how full your counter meter is. Very interesting. So it looks like we should pair it up with a shield that is better at parrying. Apprentice Spear. Alongside the standard blade, apprentice wound bearers are instructed in the use of the one-handed spear, some even electing to use it as their full-time weapon after advancement. An excellent choice for keeping a distance between yourself and an enemy. It's a long-range weapon, and it's heavy, but it does deal strong knockback. And takes a lot of stamina. And this one also deals extra damage based on counter meter. Interesting. Well, I don't have enough money to bother with any of these. I would probably only buy the padded clothing. Goodbye for now. I assume you're going to stay around. Best of luck with everything. I'll be praying for you. Thank you. You as well. Oh, everyone is just so nice. So good to see. Listen, Aram. Not to be rude, but your modesty gets on people's nerves sometimes. Yeah, that happens. Just try and take credit for your achievements sometimes, okay? I promise no one will be offended. Okay, and now we get to go outside. How am I on time? Well, let's just go outside. I stepped into the street and admired the fading orange light. The rest of the afternoon is my own. I suppose I could return home and read. Or something. No, I realized then what it was I really wanted to do. I'll go look for her. I'd like to see Sachita today. I'd like to hear her voice. You almost sound tentative, like you're not actually used to voicing even to yourself what you want to do. Again, interesting, and his characterization is consistent so far. I really love it. Is she still at the temple? I should go look. During free time, you are allowed to explore the settlement at your own pace and complete side content. Take side quests, talk to the people of the settlement, and collect items. The story will not progress unless you pursue the main quest objective. You can view your current quests at any time by pressing C to open the status menu, as well as mark a quest as your current tracked quest. Okay, so we have a bunch of things to do, and the arrow is pointing right. So, of course, this means we are going to go left first in the next episode. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, which I really hope you do, then please give the video a like. It really helps me out. Go take a look at my channel. If you find anything else you like, then go watch that. Maybe even subscribe. And I will be back with some more. See you in the next one.